Hi, this is Joy at Pine Quilt Shop. Today we are talking about some fun decorations that you can make that you can have up the entire winter season. The first one that we're going to look at is this cute little cork snowflake. This is a free pattern from Handbag Felts, the supplier of the wool balls that we're using in the project. And it is made out of corks. So the first thing that you're going to do is to take your cork and to cut it into approximately a ½ inch width disc. And we found that it worked pretty well to take a cork and split it in half and then split it into quarters. And that ended up being about the right size for the corks that we were using. Now we decided to go with a new cork because we didn't want to have the hole from the corkscrew in it in our decorations. So we went with, I bought some brand new corks and we were using new corks to make this. Now, initially when we started putting these together, we put together these two segments and these two and these two and then went to glue them all together. And what I found is when I added the small wool ball and the decorative pin, that I was knocking some of them off as I was putting that in. So I changed my methodology. My recommendation is that you make the circle and then you take your cork piece and you take your decorative pin. It's a pretty pearlized pin. Put your pin through that and then you'll insert it into your cork, and that will leave you with a piece like this that you can then glue on. And the pin comes through a little bit in with the pins that I was using, so you can put glue there. You're going to want to glue it. It's not enough to hold it, but then you have the pin to actually help hold it while everything is drying. So that is what I would recommend. Make your circle and then make your sub-assemblies of these pieces and then add them all the way around. Now, after you have those added, you're going to take a bigger wool ball and you will take two of them and glue them together to fill in the center opening hole. So there's two of them glued together in the center. And I also took a little bit of baker's twine and I tied it to one of the pins to give myself a hanging string. So a fun Christmas or Christmas into the winter ornament that you can make with something simple like cork. And you need 6 of the 1 centimeter wool balls and 2 of the 2 centimeter wool balls to make your snowflake decoration, plus some pearlized head pins, some pearl head pins. So the glue that the designer recommended for gluing the cork together is Aleene's tacky glue. I opted to use my Aleene's super thick tacky glue. It's a little bit thicker, it dries a little bit faster, and I opted to use this one instead of the plain tacky glue, but either one of these would work great for putting this project together. So that is the quick cork snowflake decoration. The other thing that I've been working on are these fun garlands. They are also made with felt products from Handbag Felts, and this little garland is a cute evergreen Christmas tree garland, and it has wool balls on it and it has felted wool evergreen trees. So it's fun to put together. Now when you're doing these garlands, we sell these in a kit. So they come in a kit packaged like this, and you get all of the wool felt balls that you need to make the garland. You get your needle, and it's a special needle. It's made to go through those densely felted wool balls, and you get your baker's twine, and it all comes in the kit ready to go. So when you put these together, you have the option of simply stringing all the items and spacing them out, and they will grip the string enough that they will not slide around on you. But you also, if you would like to, can take and put knots in between your balls so they can't slide back and forth. I'm going to have this hanging in the shop as a sample. I opted to knot them so they weren't moving around on us here in the shop. So what I have done for spacing is I would string an item, I would make a knot, and the designer recommended roughly a finger's width, about 3/4 of an inch in between. Now I have little fingers, so for me I used a thumb width, and that worked pretty closely. Now here I have two balls right next to each other, so it's a knot, two balls, and a knot, and then we go into the next space, the next 3/4 inch space, and the items, and you work your way through the sequence. And then this particular garland is made so that when you hang it, you'll have a section of just plain balls that come down the side. The kits have plenty of ribbon in them, or plenty of baker's twine, so you will not run out of baker's twine. There is plenty of that in it. You could also make a longer garland if you want, because you do have plenty of baker's twine, and you could leave bigger gaps in between. These look super cute adding fabric strips to them as well. So you could leave a bigger gap here between these two items, and you could tie on maybe a red and white plaid piece of fabric. So you can cut small fabric strips and add those as well to your garland, and they would make a fun accent on there also. So definitely think about adding some fabric to them along with the wool items that come in the kit. The other kit that we have is the peppermint garland. So there's a variety of these. This one has a sequence where you do a peppermint, and that's a wool felted peppermint, just like the evergreen trees. And then you do a red, a pink, a blue, a green ball, and a peppermint, and then a red, a blue, a pink, a green ball, and a peppermint. So that's the sequence on that one. Though you can always change it up and do your own thing. So when you are stringing these items, I have made my gap, and I've put my knot in, and now I'm ready to put my last ball on. And what I've found worked the best, this needle has a sharp end, and then it's got a funny shaped tip, and it really is designed to work its way through that wool. So what I've found worked the best was to do a little back and forth motion as I got it going, and that was the best way to get it worked through. And then once I got it started, then I actually am probably moving the wool ball itself more, and there we go, I'm through. So the needle is very effective to get through your balls, and I would go ahead now and thread. This is my last one. I would thread my last one on until it hit that knot where I had made my space. It'll hit that knot, and all I have to do now is tie one last knot, and my garland is complete. So I'll try to get that pretty tightly tucked against the side of my wool ball so that my wool ball isn't going to move around. And now all I have to do is to trim my string. Now the other thing you can do too is you can go ahead and make yourself a loop if you want. Go ahead and double that up and tie it, and you can make yourself a loop to hook it on something. So when you get to this point, I would recommend that you take and figure out where you're going to put it in your house, and then you can decide how you want to handle the ends of your string and how long you want to leave it, where you want to, if you want to just leave it as cut it off and knot it, or if you want to make yourself a hanging loop after you decide where you're going to put it. But fun decorations, they are easy things to work on. You can work on them at night while you're watching TV. You can take them with if you have a road trip planned and work on them in the car, and they're fun items to put together. You could work on your cork snowflakes in the car, but they'd be a little trickier, but the garland is an easy project that can travel with you. The cork, you need a table to lay them out and keep them flat while the glue is setting up. So that's a little more of an in-house project. But I think they would both be fun projects if you have maybe some family members or friends that are crafty to have a little crafting party and make some decorations as a group. So that would be a fun thing to do now around the holidays as well. So thank you for joining us. You can find kits for these items on our website at redpinequiltshop.com.